Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Dan here at White Glove Auto. Today we're going to be working on this 22 Porsche 911. I'm going to be putting some paint protection film on it. When you're going around a panel like this, is getting your stretch right, getting enough without getting too much. So that's not going to want to pull back on the edges. You want to try to keep your stretch within the center here and all along your edges, just similar to a vinyl install. All right, well, we've got this all squeegeed down here, fairly quick and easy install here. We'll come back and we'll make a little relief cut right here around this edge right there. So there will be a seam basically right here. And that's about it. Other than that, it's just come around and trimming up the perimeter. You could go back and trim right away, but I think it's always wise to kind of let the film settle in and actually get some tack. Let it cure up a little bit before you go trimming the edges. At times I may even go back and actually put some heat on the edges. I just want to be sure that it's good and sealed down. So if there is any minor stress in those areas, that it won't pull back when you trim. But if you've installed it properly, you should have minimal stretch in those areas, so you should be okay. But yeah, I'll generally let it sit on there for a while, like I said, and or heat it up before I go back and trim the edges. This side is basically done now. We're going to take our edge tape here and we're going to basically go around the perimeters where I'm going to be trimming at. This here is probably about, I'm guessing this is probably 1/8 of an inch thick. My preference is probably like 3/8. Even 1/4 inch, would be okay. I've got some of that as well, but you basically want it thick enough where it's not getting all willy wonky on you as you're laying it down, and it's keeping that, that nice straight edge, but yet thin enough to where when you're lifting it up off here after you're done with the trimming, it's not wanting to pull the film up as you remove the tape. So I was trying to find a nice balance there in regards to thickness. No, right here, I'm just laying the edge tape down on top of the PPF, so that will give me a guide when I do my trimming. Just using this kind of as a straight edge, The squeak is important. That's exactly what you want to hear to ensure that you're cutting through the top coat, more or less scoring the film and not cutting all the way through the film into the paint. So that squeak is exactly what you want. Yeah, I just went ahead and went right after this one after I installed it and went ahead and trimmed all the edges. I'll go back and do the same thing over there on the passenger side. If I've got any concerns whatsoever in regards to any high stress areas, then I'll drop some heat on those areas and really try to get the adhesive to bite down. You just gotta have to understand, what a reasonable amount of tension is, what you can get away with, and what you're not going to be able to get away with. You don't, a week or so after the install, you don't want your edges and stuff popping up. So the nice thing that we do here is that we encourage our customers to come back within 7 to 10 days after our initial install, so we can do an edge check. And it's a good training opportunity for the installer, because real quick you start to learn and understand, those aspects of the install, the do's and the don'ts, and makes you a much overall stronger, installer moving forward. And then it ensures that the customers, getting taken care of too, and you got a quality install that's out there running the streets. So there's a paint flaw up here that we had noticed upon doing the prep work. So upon identifying that and letting the customer come in and see it, he wants to go ahead and have that paint flaw taken care of before we put PPF over it. So we're gonna have to go in through here. You can remove the wheel or leave the wheel on, go through the liner, remove the liner, and then come in and pop these headlights out so that we can do a really quality install of the fenders without this headlight protruding out of here and getting into the way. And we can get the edges of the film wrapped down up underneath the sill of the headlight, so it's kind of seamless or edgeless there, and have really just a clean install and help the longevity of the install as well. So. And out the gas cap here, another pretty straightforward piece, just ensuring you got it stretched out to the outer edge there without crossing over that lip. We've got door cups and A-pillars on our sheet that we'll do next. Last thing we want is to, do a crappy install and have this guy go off to a car show and everyone's staring at it and looking at all the unfinished edges and all the issues and everything, and yeah, that's you know, just a little extra step there. You know, we'll go in and get it really nice and tight around that badge, and then reapply that badge. Same thing with the headlights. Like I said, we'll go up under the sills where we can. We'll wrap all the edges that we can. Just really getting going after all the details, you know. Well, we just knocked out the gas cap, the door cups, and now getting ready to do the A-pillars. So we sprayed some of our expel gel on there and let that set on there for a few minutes and flush out all the contaminants. And now we're just getting this all wiped off here and ready for the install. We'll be focusing right here along this this front edge right here. As far as the alignment goes, you just want to ensure, I mean, the front area here is the impact area, so you want to be sure that if you're going to have a gap or shortage on either side, you want it to be on this inside here, or outside, sorry, rather than the inside, because this is forward facing. This is what you want to ensure that you've protected, you know, from debris. Water, just gonna spray off the gel here. The little A-pillars there are usually pretty quick and painless. Master installer right there, boy. That's looking good. Yeah, just looking over the edges there. Feeling pretty good about that. We will move on to the other side. As promised, we got the wheel liners and the headlights removed. And so, I mean, obviously, so we can you have that out of your way, you're gonna get a lot better, a lot cleaner install rather than fighting around that. Like I said, we'll get the edges wrapped in here, which will be up under the sill of the headlight, so you won't see an edge. So yeah, that's it takes probably, I mean, if you haven't done it before, it'll take you probably an hour aside. Removing the wheels isn't necessary. I've done a few of these now. It takes me about 30 minutes. Just like I said, leaving the wheel on and taking the liner and just the headlight out. You know, if you want to remove the wheel, obviously that's fine too, but it can be done without removing the wheel. And like I said, about 30 minutes aside, but if you haven't done it before, I'd probably allow about an hour aside. It's you got like 7 T25 torque screws on the top of the liner, 4 T30 screws on the lower side, and then after that, you know, you can remove the liner. The headlight itself, there's just a couple clips back there, and then 2 more screws, one on the top and bottom, and it pops right out the front. Taking a look at this other fender over here, comparing it to the other one. We've had some paint flaws and whatnot that we've discovered in the hood panel during the prep process, and just trying to identify any of those areas and let the customer know about it, and be sure they're on board with putting film over the top of it, or if they want to have, you know, any of those flaws addressed prior to us installing the film. Like I said, we kind of got a bulk kind of hybrid pattern cut, if you will. So I've got a few extra inches all the way around, and I'm going to anchor it back over here onto the door. Then I'm going to initiate my stretch. It's going to be kind of like a vinyl stretch. It's going to be throughout the entire panel on this particular fender right here. I think that's probably the best approach. So that's what we're going to try. Got most of it all squeegee down. We just got to work in around the headlight here itself, and then come back and do all the trimming and wrap around edges and whatnot. But the overall install and everything went well. The tricky area in the stretch is right down in this area here, because you need to be pulling this direction and then pulling out at the same time, so you don't have any excess built in here around this headlight. Then having a cutout here also is helpful to release some of that tension and allow it to stretch properly. Nevertheless, still a little tricky. The install went excellent, and we just got to tidy it up here. Yeah, everything's wrapped pretty much where I want it. Just need to go back now and just start basically trimming everything here. Well, I got the headlight edges here all taken care of. Now I'm just going to work around the outer edge of the panel itself and continue to trim and wrap. They're gone in 60 seconds. This is gone in 5 seconds. We are all done with the driver's side front fender here. All right, y'all, this is Dan here at White Glove Auto. Today we worked on the driver's side fender, got that installed. We're not going to install the passenger side front fender. Did notice a paint flaw, which is actually noted by Porsche, so we're gonna get that addressed and taken care of before we install the paint protection film on that fender.